The Storyville Slayer is the nickname given to the elusive serial killer who murdered 24 or possibly more women, mostly prostitutes, as if he knew no one was coming to look for them. These murders took place in the span of 5 years between 1991 and 1996. This is one of those unsolved horror stories that keep you up at night, wondering who could be the Storyville Slayer. It all started on 13th of August when Howard Stern got a call from a guy who claimed to kill 12 women, considering it to be a hoax. The call was forwarded for fun and laughs, but it turned out to be something much more sinister.
All right, I got a guy on the phone who claims he's been killing prostitutes and he's wondering why he's doing it. Ed?
No, this isn't Ed.
Oh.
You haven't killed any prostitutes?
No, I never said my name was Ed. You can call me Clay.
So what happened? How many prostitutes have you killed?
12.
And you're wondering why you do it?
I have a pretty good idea.
Did your mom beat you?
Was your mom a prostitute?
No, I think I just do it for the sense of the power.
The Howard Stern Show. The Howard Stern Show is not your ordinary run-of-the-mill radio show. It is one of the most talked about shows in America that aired from 1996 to 2005. It was famous for Howard's lowbrow comedy and his misogynistic humor. He managed to engage about 20 million listeners, which is a lot considering this was in the 90s. Howard Stern caught the attention of FCC, and a total fine of $2.5 million was imposed on him for indecent on-air material. On 13th of August 1997, his show was airing as usual, and he got a call. He used to get a lot of disturbing calls, but they mostly turned out to be prank calls. But this call was off from the start. As the call went on, they realized this wasn't just an ordinary caller. They were actually talking to a serial killer. Analysis of the call. The original audio of the call was 17 minutes long. During the first few seconds of the call, Howard manages to assess the person he's talking to is actually legit and not a hoax. The way he gets offended over Howard calling him by the wrong name and not the accusation of killing prostitutes is something. He went on by saying they can call him Clay, which proved his narcissistic nature.
I got a guy on the phone who claims he's been killing prostitutes and he's wondering why he's doing it. So maybe he thinks I have an answer. Is this Ed? Ed?
No, this isn't Ed.
Oh.
You haven't killed any prostitutes?
No, I never said my name was Ed.
Oh.
Sorry.
That's okay.
What name do you use?
You can call me Clay.
Clay?
Clay?
Yes, Clay. Okay, Clay. So what happened? How many prostitutes have you killed?
12.
And you're wondering why you do it?
I have a pretty good idea.
Why? Did your mom beat you? Did your mom spank you?
Was your mom a prostitute?
No. Actually, nothing like that.
What is it then?
I think I just do it for the sense of the power.
All right. Do you have sex with them first?
Yes, and
And then what, you strangle them?
once.
How else did you kill them?
Well, a few times, actually most times with a hammer.
At the first minute, you can notice a pattern. The conversation shifts into more of an interrogative direction. Stern starts taking his casual behavior seriously and takes a serious approach. Considering his victims are mostly prostitutes, he asked whether he engages in sexual contact, which is kind of helpful for the police in looking for DNA evidence if they find the bodies. Stern further asks about his way of killing, which is mostly a giveaway to tell if he's actually legit or not. Clay hesitates before saying he bludgeons them to death with a hammer, most of the times. He hesitated, which showed he wasn't lying, because, well, the hesitation wasn't really long enough to make up a lie, but who knows, maybe he did lie.
And where do you do this primarily?
I've done it twice in a parking garage, and then the rest of the times on the side of the road.
And you're from the New Orleans area?
Yes.
And how, I mean, what do you beat them to death with a hammer?
Man.
That usually only takes once, and
Dude, you got to have a lot of anger in you.
yes.
And that means you're heartless. Did you used to kill small animals?
No, I've killed a rat.
Yeah. Dude, you're a serial killer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. And you get away with it, I guess, because they're hookers, and so far nobody's... What?
Is this Howard?
Yeah. Hello? Hello?
I didn't know this was Howard.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
Howard.
of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I've never killed a kitten.
Stern kept inquiring to get further clues to help solve the cases by asking for the location where he mainly performed the murders. And then to test his sanity, he used the method called the McDonald Triad, which is a test named after psychiatrist J.M. McDonald, who proposed in a 1963 article in the American Journal of Psychiatry that future serial violence and even murder can often be predicted in children who simultaneously engage in chronic bedwetting, compulsive arson, and cruelty toward animals. But it was later found that this theory was more useful in discovering childhood abuse and neglect rather than predicting future serial killers. It's almost hilarious how many times Stern and Robin hint at Clay to kill himself, but he stays on call, almost as if he's dying to confess to someone. Clay then calmly confesses being a serial killer. Like, who does that?
So how old were you when you killed your first woman?
16.
And you must be a powerful kind of guy, big guy.
I wasn't then.
Right. And when you killed your first one, did you go in there knowing you were going to kill her, or it just sort of happened?
I knew I really had it planned out. You know, I wanted to do the whole sending clues.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Are you
To
in?
baffle people, but it turned out no one noticed for a long time.
Right. Like you killed her on the side of the road?
Her, that was the parking garage.
Okay. And then what'd you do with the body? You dumped that somewhere?
Yeah, actually, I think she's probably one of the ones that they found.
Yeah.
But let me ask you something. You were sending clues that you were going to do this?
No, I was.
He was going to
started doing that.
He was going to leave like a note for the newspapers, and you know,
But you decided not to.
he didn't want to be famous or draw attention to himself. But what problem is
No, that's what I wanted to do, but
but you did, but no one noticed the clues.
I never sent the clues. I never left anything. You know, I wanted to have my own little signature.
Right.
I wanted the thumb paint
Oh,
with their thumbs.
Oh, really?
what do you want to do?
Thumb paint with their thumbs.
Thumb paint what though?
I don't know.
Oh, anything. It was in a comic book a couple of years ago. Just seemed like a good idea.
Like you take the girl you killed, you dip her thumbs in paint, and then you do like a thumb painting
Yeah.
on a piece of paper.
Yeah.
Now, after you kill somebody, do you play with the body?
Actually, the closest I've ever done to that is I always make sure I pay them and I make sure they keep their money
Oh, really?
when they're still alive. But with one of them, I did put the money in a compromising place.
I see.
But this one, you know, it had a penis.
Oh, really?
It was a guy.
Yeah, I didn't know at first.
So do you ever get? Do you think the reason you're so angry is because you were abused or something?
No, I wasn't abused, Howard.
Notice something shift in Clay's behavior after he confirmed if he's talking to Howard. His pattern of breathing changed, and his answers started getting more and more sudden, as if he's talking to someone he trusted. Stern asked questions about his first killings, which could help build a case against him in the future. It was a really intellectual approach from Stern. Him leaving clues sounds like he's inspired from the Riddler in Batman, or the Zodiac Killer even, because he wanted fame too. It's almost as if he couldn't get the attention he wanted, so he had to go on live TV to get some recognition. Later in the audio, he talks about thumb painting, which he saw in a comic, which further proves he's a comic book fan, which is a totally normal trait. If you resonate with the hero, but he resonated more with the villains.
Where's your family?
You got a
I
wife?
mean, you got a mom, a dad, a wife, children. You got any of that?
I've got a couple of kids, but I'm
No wife.
not married to the mother.
You're a white guy?
Yeah, Howard, that's pretty funny because the only suspect they had when they started finding the bodies was a black police officer.
Oh.
Turns out one of them was associated with them.
Oh, really?
Are you on drugs?
I've done acid a few times,
So
but nothing heavy.
So after you killed the first 60-year-old, like you finished.
No, I was 16.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry.
He was.
All right. So you finish with your sexual gratification, and then you.
Not always, no.
Not always. You don't even want to get laid sometimes.
No,
You just want to kill.
I'm just bored.
Right.
But does the killing sexually satisfy you in some way?
I can't believe Ed McMahon's not laughing.
I've eaten off thinking about it later.
Yeah.
What do you say?
That's about it.
He's pleasured himself thinking about it later.
Oh, he had.
Stern starts inquiring about whether he has any family, which could help the police single him out. Clay hesitates again. Then further on, Clay goes on to reveal something strange that the police had not revealed yet, that the prime suspect in his investigation was Victor Grant, who we'll discuss later in the video.
Okay. Now, how far apart are these murders? Like, do you murder and then, like, you feel satisfied for a while?
I don't even understand why I do it, Howard. I don't know if I ever get any satisfaction.
But how
The
often?
closest together anywhere was the same night.
Really?
You killed 2 people in the same night?
Yeah, but I went to Mississippi for the second one.
So there's no pattern to how many weeks or days between murders?
No.
Are these mostly white chicks or black chicks?
A fair number of them have been black. The transvestite was black.
You think there's some racial motivation here?
No, Howard, they were just, let's just say a Jimmy Swaggart town.
Jimmy Swaggart Town.
Don't know what that means.
Me neither, but
That's pretty much the area around here where the prostitutes all hang out.
Oh.
I see.
And it's just whoever comes up to you. You don't pick a certain type?
I don't even approach them. I wait for them to approach me, Robin.
So
And do you
that's
ever
like them asking for it.
do you ever like look into their eyes and go, you know, gee, these people were just children at one point, and maybe they just had a tough life? And
I've let a couple go.
you have. Like, what happened? You're in the middle of killing them, and then they what do they say? Why would you let one go and kill the other?
There was this one.
Go ahead.
I think she was probably really new to it.
Yeah.
There was just something about her. Maybe she reminded me of my fiance, but
Right. You somehow relate.
more of an innocent quality.
You somehow felt bad for her.
Yeah.
So you killed your first woman.
When was the last time you killed?
It's been a few months.
Right.
Actually, it's been going on a year.
So what do you think you're going to do? Do you think you're going to kill yourself? Do you think that
Are you
you'll-
going to kill again?
Can you
I don't
stop
know if
this?
I killed myself. I'd miss the next Batman movie.
Right. You don't want to do that.
No.
No, but in all seriousness, I mean, do you think that you can control this? Do you think you can stop?
I think I have been.
Oh, you have been for the last
Hey,
couple of months.
A year he hasn't killed.
Oh, a year.
Yeah.
Almost.
So why do you think you stopped killing all of a sudden?
I really don't know, Howard. Part of it had to do with my car broke down.
Oh, no transportation.
Seriously? That's the reason?
Well, that was the reason for a month, but after that, I guess it was all self-control.
Wow. But
So you don't want to do this anymore?
No, he wants to do it, but he's controlling himself. Like, you want to kill women, right?
Sure.
Yeah. And what do you like? Do you enjoy seeing them struggle as you kill them?
Actually, none of them really struggle.
Do you hit them from behind, or do they see it coming?
I can't get inside their minds, but let's just say I hit them.
But, I mean, are you facing them?
Yeah.
Oh, so you can see their face and everything when you do it.
Yeah. The worst I've ever gotten was, one tried to grab my neck. I've never gotten any of the claw marks or anything that are, dead giveaways.
Right. You must be very powerful.
I wouldn't call myself powerful, maybe, intimidating.
Why did you use a hammer? You think you?
Because it was in a book I read.
Oh,
Well, everything's coming from
cartoons
somebody
and
else.
yeah. When's the last time you got laid?
Last week, Howard.
Oh yeah. So you didn't kill that girl
No.
because she was in a hooker.
No.
Right.
It's only hookers, though.
A lot of serial killers are only into hookers because they know A,
Easy.
probably won't get caught, and B, they have some kind of anger toward hookers. So there's no way I'm going to talk you into giving yourself up or anything, right?
No.
I shouldn't even waste my time. I know I'm going to get calls after this, and people are going to go, Howard, how come you didn't catch him?
Clay makes a reference to Jimmy Swaggart Town. Jimmy Swaggart is a famous televangelist. Jimmy's ministries were located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana at the time of the call. Its population is over 50% black, and most of Clay's victims were black, so it makes sense. Later in the clip, Clay talks about how he lets girls that he deems innocent go, which is kind of ironic for a serial killer to kill people, because they're not innocent. Stern and Robin can be seen trying to get him to reveal his job, but obviously, Clay's not having it.
How do you break the news to her that she's going to die?
It really depends on my mood.
Just give us an example.
Well, if I wanted to, I could just say Baba Booey, but that would be pretty,
No, come on, be serious. What do you say to him?
I can say you're gonna die.
And then what do they do?
I like to articulate a little more than that.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I ask them if they think it's dangerous doing what they're doing, if they're worried about things, and they'll laugh it off, and that just pisses me off.
Right. And then you go ahead and you kill them.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there you go.
It's weird how, despite having a family, his only motivation for not killing himself is the next Batman movie. Even his way of killing is inspired by comics. Stern kinda gave up when he figured out he couldn't get him to change his mind. The way he just casually says, Baba Booey, just goes on to show how little regard he has for someone's life. Howard adds a psychologist to the line, who again references the McDonald triad. But oh well. The psychologist further analyzed his behavior, but there was no point, so Howard cut the call. Investigation. The FBI went to their studio and asked for a copy of their tape. After that, Howard never spoke of the call publicly. After the call, an investigative team was made, and they had two prime suspects, Victor Grant and Russell Elwood. Victor Gant. Victor Gant was a former police officer. He spent a lot of time at red light districts where he made acquaintances with some sex workers, drug dealers, and pimps. He became roommates with Sharon Robinson. At the same time, he was running racketeering operations and gained quite a repute for being corrupt. Robinson went to the police to report him for beating her, and according to her statement, Gant punched her in the face and broke her nose. Gant denied the accusation, stating that he had pushed her during an argument, with Robinson hitting her nose on a chair. This was contradicted by her children, who said that they had witnessed him beating their mother. This was backed up by the emergency room doctor, who testified that the woman's injuries were the result of a beating. In early 1995, a disciplinary panel and hearing to determine Gant's punishment began. During the hearing, members of the disciplinary committee reviewed the testimony of the prosecution's witnesses. The key witness was supposed to be Robinsol, but she was found dead on May 1, 1995. According to the investigators, Gant had killed both her and her friend, Karen Ivester, in order to get rid of them. According to friends and acquaintances of the victims, Gant held a personal grudge against Ivester and had spoken negatively about her on multiple occasions. In order to determine whether he was guilty or not, Gant was ordered to submit DNA for testing to see whether they could match it to the perpetrator's saliva, which was found on a piece of chewing tobacco found near Ivester's body. The results were inconclusive and no charges were filed against Gant, who was dismissed from the force in August 1996. Russell Elwood. Another suspect that matched the description of the Storyville Slayer was Russell Elwood. He had no permanent profession and mostly stuck to photography and cab driving, which kinda made sense because Clay stressed how important his car was to him, and without it, he couldn't commit the murders. In 1994, Elwood was apprehended by the police. He had his car parked by the side of the road where the murders of Cheryl Lewis and Dolores Mack's bodies were found. He was found masturbating, which matched what Clay said about beating off to the murders later. He was taken in for questioning regarding the murders, then he was considered a suspect. Elwood was informed of his rights and within 3 days gave several statements recorded on tape. During the interrogations, he admitted to frequenting black prostitutes throughout his life, claiming that he knew more than 100 girls. A number of other inmates witnessed a fight between Elwood and another inmate, during which he allegedly said, "Yeah, I killed that nigger bitch. I'll kill you too." Another inmate also told police that Elwood had boasted of being wanted for more than 60 murders within the state of Louisiana, and had even described to him in detail one of them. The trial. During the trial, many witnesses came forth and testified as prosecution, claiming he confessed to the killings, and many other witnesses testified his violent behavior, saying he would drug them, rape them, and beat them, but they managed to flee, but couldn't report the incident because of their criminal records. A couple more said they saw Russell walking with Cheryl Lewis a few days before her disappearance, but Cheryl's mother didn't really see him before. A lot of the details of this case didn't match the description of Clay, but all evidence pointed towards Russell being guilty. He was charged with life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. Discrepancies. If we assume Clay was being honest, a lot of the details don't match, like Clay didn't drug his victims before he had consensual sex, whereas Elwood drugged his victims because he liked having sex with girls who weren't in control of their bodies, often luring them with LSD, cocaine, while Clay didn't do drugs. Clay mostly just killed out of boredom and killed straight away, while Elwood was the opposite. Clay's methods of killing were different, hammer and once strangulation, while Elwood used drug overdose and strangulation. Cheryl was a nurse, while Clay's victims were mostly prostitutes. Clay mentioned the words, "the running game," while Elwood liked his victims weak and helpless. There was no mention of Elwood setting fires in his childhood like Clay revealed. The call was placed on 13th of August, while Elwood was detained on 4th August, so there is no way he could have made that call behind bars. Aftermath. It's believed the real killer is still out there because, like we discussed before, a lot of things didn't fit the narrative of what Clay told Howard, if he's telling the truth. Clay could have been lying or not. There is no way to know. But it's scary knowing there is a serial killer out there who got away with 24 or more murders. Some people say the police should do more now that there is genotyping available, but sadly, there is no talk of this case being solved.